Morning, everyone. Welcome to another Friday follow-up in that continuing journey of accountability. I'd like to take some time and talk about a couple of things that legally and technically I can't give any advice about, but certainly we can talk about the topics. With the ongoing seasonal changes happening and right around the corner of the holidays, we are going into a time that I have a hard time with. The holiday season. Schedules are thrown out the window. There's a lot of things kind of like out of control that I always feel like, the highs and the lows of this time. And the fact that, with the holidays bring back sometimes memories of lost ones that are just hard to deal with sometimes. And we, excuse me, we go through these periods of highs and lows through our lives. Depression sometimes can set in. And I think that's why it's really, really important. And I'm very thankful that Mrs. Manns wanted this connectivity with the healthcare field, because there are some things that a chapter meeting can't fix. Now, that's not to discredit or discount or say we don't need chapter meetings. They are so vital to our day-to-day lives, that more than I think sometimes I realize, or sometimes I don't give enough credit for. But with the hectic schedule and the loss of control, sometimes things can kind of creep in and we kind of lose our way. We get a little more irritable. We're more fatigued. Our eating habits swing back and forth. Don't sleep. And is it just the sign of the time, something that we're dealing with, or is it a depression? I know personally that I've been sad a lot, and there's that fine line with I'm still apparently, and I it's probably hard to imagine, or not hard to imagine, but this is where sometimes I get a little confused in my thoughts, is that my father's been gone for 5 years and I still can't get it. I just don't. I'm not dealing with it. I've been running from it from a long time. And I think sometimes it catches up with me every now and then, a high and a low, if you will. And I've talked to my doctor about it, and we just kind of like just watching it, make sure things are going okay one time, and then goes a little off kilter again, the high and low. And again, we've got to be real careful to not give advice to TOPS members dealing with upheavals in their lives. And trust me, it doesn't have to be the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a job. It could be anything, because you really don't know what a person is really sometimes thinking inside. And I think that's the difficulty that we have, that as TOPS members, we want to be supportive and we want to be helpful. And I think that really when you go about what we're all about, the fact that we are a supportive group by nature, just listening does a lot. The fact that we want to talk about increasing our physical activity, that's helpful. So we have the supportive parts of what can be done during these hectic times. But then again, there's other folks who relish in these last 2 months of the year, and their high and low period might be the beginning of the year or the middle of the year. And sometimes we don't know what triggers something that kind of will put us into a tailspin with our weight loss. The fatigue is a big one. And if you're awake more, you tend to eat more. I mean, what else are you going to do in the middle of the night? Now I know better. Hey, I've been there, done that, and I know what's not supposed to do. But it's sometimes it's hard. It's hard when you get caught up in these high and lows situations where we talk about stress, and everybody deals with stress in a different way. And what is stressful for one is not stressful for another. It is, and that's where it really comes into play, that we just have to be supportive and listen and not be judgmental. Here we go again. There's that word again that we talk a lot about folks being judgmental. Like, well, what do you mean? Just shake it off, rub some dirt on it, get moving, And it's like you don't really know the inner thinking of some folks. The fact that I tell my grandkids that I don't drink and I never did drugs, kind of like they look at me like, you don't drink? No. But I'm kind of glad I don't, because given the fact that sometimes I have my highs and lows, maybe I'd be reaching for that a little bit too soon. But then again, I reach out for the comfort food. So I'm not going to say one's better than the other. We all handle our situations differently. But I know that I am off track. When we talk about my journey of accountability, which I've been very, very open and transparent about, last night was the first time in 6 weeks, excuse me, 6 weeks that I had a opportunity to go to a chapter meeting. And I knew I was on a high, unfortunately the wrong way. And I almost didn't weigh in. But I thought, with Thanksgiving around the corner and the fact that I know I have a hard time dealing with this time of year, again, for a whole host of reasons, memories come flooding back, or just the chaotic schedules and stuff like that. At least I acknowledge the fact that I have a hard time with this year. I said, no, I think I know where I'm at. I got to weigh in and kind of like start over one more time. And I got on the scale, and after 6 weeks of being away from a meeting, I gained 5 pounds, which the weight recorder said, that it could have been worse. And she is right. It could have been worse. But the 5-pound gain put me into a number that I hadn't seen for a long, long time. And that's where it kind of hit me. That here, all this time, I was thinking, I'm doing all right. And there was that number that, yeah, by itself, 5 pounds over the 6-week period. But now I'm in a number that not happy with. And the fact that, given my state of mind, the way things have been lately, it's a good thing I was at a chapter meeting, because we had a great meeting and talked to other TOPS members and find out that we're all struggling together. In our chapter of, I think last night we were 20 people. Yeah, we were 20 there last night. We had a great loss for the group. So my 5 pounds didn't hurt them. So we had some great losses. And people, we talked a little bit about what's coming up with the holidays. And unfortunately, again, we're hit with that reality where we've got one of our members who is not feeling well, is in the hospital right now, and we have concerns about him. And it just kind of brings us right back to, like, this is the time of year where people get sick, and we got to be careful what we're doing. And it was a great meeting. I needed to be there last night. And I'll gonna probably say this in various ways, and you've heard me say this. We have the proof as our organization went through that pandemic that we have to stay connected. If we lose that connectivity, we're going to struggle with our highs and lows of everything, not only with our weight loss, but just enjoying life. So this is a difficult subject. I kind of touched upon various words, the highs and lows, kind of like depression, sadness can really have an effect on not only with our weight, but also how we enjoy life and how we live our lives. So I just want to leave you with this, that maybe you can handle these hectic times, and maybe you're fortunate enough to have the skill set to deal with it. Some of us struggle, and we're going to lean on you during these times to help us get through them. I know that I'm glad I went last night. I'm going to deal with this 5 pounds. It was kind of like a wake-up call because, again, I hadn't seen that number for almost 20 years. And it was the wake-up call. So today, I'm going to start digging out of my low and try to have a good weekend and kind of reassess what I want to do, what I need to do. I know what I want to do, but again, it's just hard. And if I don't take care of it now, it's just going to get harder through over the next few weeks. There's a reason why my favorite month of the year is January, because I put this time in my life, this hectic time behind me. And there's nothing like a big snowstorm where you can just hibernate for a while and collect your thoughts and move on and get things done. So again, we know with the supportive group we have that we tend to break down significant tasks into small ones. I'm not going to try to get rid of those 5 pounds all in 1 week. I'm not trying to get back to my more comfortable number in one fell swoop. I'm going to break it into small parts. I'm going to continue to go to chapter meetings and try to straighten out my schedule. I'm going to handle a few things that have been hanging out there that I really need to take care of that I've been putting off, but I'll break it down in small pieces. The highs and lows. This time of year, it's my problem. It's my difficult time. Again, if you can handle it well, I'll be leaning on you, and I'll be there to help you when you're having your rough time of the year. I will see you next Friday.